So I told him, I said, baby, I'm so worried about you, I'm not hanging up, period. I said, so you're going to have to fall asleep with me on the phone and do not hang up. And he said, what? How selfish of you. I can't believe how inconsiderate you're being right now. You know I don't feel good. You know I'm tired, and I can't believe you. I said, believe it.
Oh my goodness.
Believe it. I'm going to stay right here with you. And as he's typing, she's asking, you know, she's giving the time that she's going to arrive, what she has to do, because she can't stay overnight. She's got to leave at 4 in the morning. She's giving the details. I'm telling y'all, I'm keeping it real. She's giving the details, and I thought to myself, sweetheart, he'll be on the phone with me at 4 in the morning, so you might as well cancel Christmas on that. So he's going on, so then out of pure frustration, because he saw that I was going nowhere, all he did was text, forget it. And then the box, boop, went away. He cut it off.
Oh,
and I said, all right, but that was the initial issue. But as I'm talking to him, and I did stay on the phone with him, you guys, until 5 o'clock. Okay? And so when I knew that that was not an issue anymore, then there was an issue. Okay? Then there was an underlying issue because that was not good consciousness. That was deceitful. You know, that was painful. And so from that moment, the moment I actually hung up with him that morning, that's when the rage kicked in. Now remember the person I kept to the side before? I took the high road. Well, no, now I took the low road. Okay? She reversed. And when I got off the phone with him, anger, because it was the trust. You know what I mean? Keeping in mind, remember my background, all right? So I didn't have to I was blessed that I hadn't had to deal with stuff like that in my face that I was aware of. If it had happened, I didn't know anything about it. Okay? But this happened right in my face, right literally in my face. And what does one do with that when you love somebody? And they tell you they love you too. So what does that mean, right? What that means is I get angry and I get mad. And then I stepped out of character, okay? I went on social media.
Oh God. Did she go on social media, y'all? Look.
Go ahead.
She blasted it on social media. All my friends saw it.
Oh my goodness.
She put me on blast.
I did. I called him everything but the Son of God.
And all my friends started to call my phone and said, what's going on?
Yeah, he was clueless, because mind you, he just went to sleep.
Right.
And I did. I'm good with pen to paper, y'all, and I put it out there. And it was just, I have to tell you, it was almost like an out-of-body experience. Ladies, if you know, have you ever gotten to that point where you're just like, and you just can't think for a moment, and you just respond? Especially, and when you really love somebody, it's even worse. At that moment, I wish I hadn't loved him, because then I wouldn't have cared, okay? And so when I put him out on social media, I typed up the whole thing, I hit send, I pushed the computer to the side, went and took a shower. While I was in the shower, my phone starts ringing and ringing, and I'm like, huh. And I'm boo-hooing just like a movie, y'all. I'm in the shower just bawling, right? I get out the shower, swollen face, swollen eyes, and I'm answering the phone. It's one of my girlfriends, Latoya, and she said, girl, I will not let you go out like that. She said, take that off social media right now. Delete it. And I was like, what? Delete it right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I went over and I deleted it. 15 minutes had passed, but in that 15 minutes, he was catching it.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized that was way out of character for me. And everybody who knew me knew that something was not right. But I'm glad that happened, because it forced a change. I had to see myself through different lenses and understand that everything is not butterflies and rainbows and gumdrops. And that sometimes in this thing called life, we get thrown into a storm, and you have to know how to come out of it. And I didn't understand at the time, but I needed to have this experience so that I could help others understand that it's okay. Because when you're in love with someone, sometimes stuff just happens. And you have to know how to work through it. You know, I had to learn how to be like water. And to go around it, over it, through it, go between it, whatever it took. I had to be fluid. Because sometimes in our relationships, we build walls, or we have standards, or we have rules. Forget the rules. Forget the standards. Forget the walls. And deal with the individual and the situation as they come up. God won't give you more than you could ever handle. Okay? And I had to learn that. And the last thing I wanted to do was destroy character, because he's a good man. He's a good man who just did a really dumb thing. Haven't we all? I mean,
that's what we do as men all the times.
And so I didn't talk to him in that 15, 20, or 30 minutes because I was, being scolded by my girlfriends. And I reached out to a friend of his, as strange as it may be, and we met another couple on our first date. And it was his best friend and his best friend's wife. And I met her that one time. But for some reason, in that moment, when I was going through all of that, something told me to call her. Now, I don't even know her like that. But I did. I called her, and she talked to me like a sister. So ladies, when I tell you this, protect each other. Be there for one another. Let's not hate on one another.
That's right.
Let's build each other up and stand in the gap for one another. Okay? This woman stood in the gap for me, and she didn't know me, but she talked to me like she had known me all my life. And she counseled me. What I didn't know, at the exact moment she was talking to me and putting me back in the right direction, he was on the phone with her husband in another room. And her husband was doing the same thing to him. And neither one of us knew that we were talking to the other. And so her last words to me were, she said, well, listen, she said, bottom line, do you want your man? And I was like, yes, I do. And that was a big girl decision to make. I said, yes, I do. She said, well, then go get your man. And so I hung up the phone, and I called him, and I said, Lord, please don't let him hang up on me. Please let him answer the phone. And now I'm begging. Oh, God, I know I messed up. I know I should have put that up. Why did I say that? Oh, I'm going through all that. And so I called, and he answers the phone, and it was the sweetest sound, you guys. He said, hey, baby. I was like, and I didn't know that when I called, he's talking to Steve. And what did you say to Steve?
I was just telling him how I'd messed up, and I didn't think she was gonna forgive me, but she did. And I thank God for that. I mean, can y'all believe that the devil come to kill, steal, and destroy? And just imagine if she didn't want it back, well, we wouldn't be sitting up here today. And the devil will tear up your relationships. He will tell those men, he'll tell the men, look at that lady over there, and go get that phone number over there. But it's really to destroy you. And so I told the Lord, I said, you know what? I told her, listen, if you give me another chance, I'll marry you. I said, if you give me another chance, I will marry you. And in what, two weeks?
It was 2 weeks later, he announced me on Facebook.
I announced her on Facebook. I don't care who the women were that I was talking to. I said, listen, I've got to announce her, because I believe that when you're really serious about a woman or a man, you're willing to announce them to the world. And so by me announcing her to the world, told all the soothsayers what the deal was.
All right.
And so I announced her. We got engaged and
We got engaged. From the very first Facebook message, hi, from March to September we dated. And then from September to December, we were an exclusive couple. You guys, ladies and gentlemen, in 9 months, we met and got engaged. And within exactly a year, I was living in Greenville. A year to the day.
Right, they won't play it.
Absolutely. And I am through the moon in that. You know, when we got engaged, he came, and I lost my uncle the day he came. The day he came, my uncle passed away unexpectedly, and I was like, Lord, thank you for having him here. We sold my practice. I got rid of my home. My son was in military school at the time, so I didn't have to worry about him at the moment. But ladies and gentlemen, please know that I had a very lucrative practice. I had been in business for a very long time. And I actually put everything in my life aside to build anew with him.
and that's faith.
Yeah.
That's faith.
And God has rewarded me time and time and time again, and I am forever grateful.
Yeah.
Forever grateful to you.
All right.
So, I thought it was important for you guys to understand the background in our story.
Right.
Because everything that glitters is not gold. Okay? And when you see me smiling so hard that my face hurts, know that it is truly sincere. You know, because I know exactly what I have. And is he perfect? Absolutely not. He is so perfect for me. Okay? And I told her from the beginning, I'm a different kind of woman. I'm a different kind of woman, because any woman can sit around here and know that he's dealing with other women and all this type of stuff. And I told him when we first started talking, he got mad one day. He called me and he was fussing, just fussing out the blue. It was weird. And I said, what is wrong with you? And he said, well, I was talking to this girl and she made me mad, and I don't know, this is going on. He said, I had to hang up on her and call somebody with some sense. Psychology. I said, okay. All right. I said, well, that's fine. I said, let me just tell you something real quick. I said, do not ever bring another woman's stuff to me. I said, while we're getting to know each other, and I know we're not exclusive, don't do that. And he said, you know what, you're right. I will never do that again. And so I told him then, I said, I'm not insecure. I'm not needy. I don't need counseling. I don't need you to save me. So why don't we just get all that out of the way? Okay, so you know that up front. I'm not looking for anything from you other than just the time that you give me, the time that I give you. Let's get to know each other. And I say that because, see, sometimes, ladies, we set the wrong expectations up front. You meet somebody and you're liking him, and all of a sudden in the back of your throwaway mind, he's my husband. No. How about get to know him first? How about what's his favorite color? You know, have a conversation. What we did, and I want you guys to try this if you haven't. What we did was really interesting. We sat down and we had a conversation, and I said, babe, listen, I want you to tell me everything you know about yourself, and I'll tell you everything that I know about myself. And let's be as open and honest as we can. So I wrote down some topics. He gave some and I gave some and wrote them down. And we talked about everything from credit to past relationships, health, our family, parents, the way we felt about our family, the way the family felt about us, keep it real, our successes, failures, areas that we had room for improvement, things that we liked or did not like about ourselves. We talked about everything, our walk with Christ. We talked about when we got saved, what that experience was like on both parts. We talked about everything. This conversation went on for about 3 hours, right? And after we got done talking and we just opened up, it was like a sense of release. Because now all the walls and all the layers were gone. So now there was no need for any facades. You didn't have to pretend. He knew me. My good, bad, and ugly, and indifferent. He knew me. I knew him. And guess what? It was okay. Neither one of us broke. Okay? And we didn't judge one another. But what it did was, it brought us to another level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It brought us to another level where we could have a different kind of conversation. Now we had an even more grown-up conversation.
Right.
You know? And now, when these women were coming out the woodwork, they weren't even a surprise to me. He had already told me. I already knew what to expect. I already knew he was cleaning house.
Right.
And like roaches, you know how things scatter?
It takes a long time for a man to clean the house.
Yeah.
A lot of cases.
Yeah, so there's a lot of scattering. Okay, so I understood that. So I didn't get all up in uproar. I didn't get all upset and huffy puffy. I knew what was going on because he was keeping it real with me. What we had experienced, I knew that I was not going to experience that again with him.
Right.
And I knew that what we had was better than that, and I knew he knew it.
Right.
Right?
Amen.
But what I have to keep in mind, you guys, see, he had been single for a very long time.
58 years.
Doing what single men do. And so instantaneously, you don't expect him to change. He had to grow into it. And this is when one of those scenarios with age just a number.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I love you, man.
I love you.
You're awesome. And so when we got together and I got here and someone asked us about doing Facebook Live, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll do it. And it felt so comfortable because what we decided to do, we would sit down and just talk the way we normally talk.
Right.
And we found that it resonated with people. And we talked about things like why men cheat.
Right.
We talked about, well, tell them a little bit about why men cheat.
One of the things I think that the reason that we have a cheating nature is because I think that in every man there is an ego. And it doesn't take a woman long to figure out that we have an ego. And long as she strokes that ego, she can get anything she wants from her. And me being a single man, I had a lot of stroking of the ego. I mean, I had, I sang all over the country, and I knew that women love singers. Women love music. I'm telling you, I tell you what, let me tell you something. I tell you what, go to the concert and look at the women. Women are attracted to musical men. Yeah, men too, but mainly women. I've had women give me their phone numbers. I've had them to do all kinds of things. So I knew that was a magnet for me. And I used it in the wrong way. Sometimes I would use it just if I go sing to a woman, I knew she would say, look, give me a call. And I used it in the wrong way. I call it pimping the gift of God. That's what I call it. I was pimping the gift of God. And so it wasn't until Carmelita came along that I had to become clean, come straight up. And because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have kept her. So I told the Lord, I said, Lord, I'm gonna be a true man, a man that'll tell the truth about men and about who we are.
All right.
Because it's a lot of males that's not men. Just because you're a male doesn't mean you're a man. And so, like my dad used to say that the closer the crop is, the better you can tend it. Which means that my crop wasn't in Greenville, North Carolina. Anybody know anything about farming know what I mean when I say crop. Tobacco, cucumbers, anything that you tend. But my crop was in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I wanted to bring my crop closer to here, and so here it is.
Yes.
Because you can't tend to something that's in New York and you in Greenville, North Carolina. So I had to bring it here. So this is my crop. And I can tend to it perfectly fine, right? But I tell you what, there's nothing this woman, most of the shopping, most of her clothes I buy, I go out and pick them out.
He tends to this crop, honey.
Yeah, I went out and saw these glasses.
He bought my frames, he does it all.
Yeah.
He does it all. These are my shoes.
Yeah, she picked out shoes. But I just have a knack for yeah, you know, I wanted to treat my woman the best I knew how. And there's nothing I got she can't have.
That's right. And so, baby, another one of our topics that we had was everything that glitters isn't gold, and now that you got me, how do you keep me?
That's how you keep her. You keep her happy. You keep her happy.
So we talked about now that you got me, a lot of people when they get into relationships, they get stale. They say that it gets stale.
Let me tell you something. Ask her if she's still with me. Oh no, I keep it interesting.
Yes, he has to, because you know what? If you do the same thing over and over and over again, what's that saying? Do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Right? Even in your relationship, you can be married 10 days, 10 years, or what have you. Every day, work on it. Every day, do something different. Every day, find a way to celebrate your partner. Whether it's just running them bath water or making them breakfast or doing something because you can. Do something. And it doesn't have to always be elaborate, but elaborate's nice sometimes. Right? So do what you can when you can and how often you can. Why? Because they're yours. They're your gift. That is your person. That's the one that God gave you. Baby, do you hear me? That's the one that God gave you. Relish in everything. Relish in them mentally. Relish in them physically. Relish in them emotionally. Relish in them in every way you can, because you are not promised tomorrow. So let today be the best day ever. Get those kisses in. Get those hugs in. Oh, by the way, did you guys know, men, if you give your woman a kiss before you leave, it actually helps your immune system and you'll live 10 years longer. Get the kisses. Okay, so we talked about that, and then we also talked about, babe, two more things. We talked about having the right person in your life versus settling for the wrong one.
Right.
And the number one decision that will determine 90% of your happiness or misery, marrying the right person.
Right.
Now, how would you tell somebody what it takes to marry the right person?
It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience. Because I remember going out. Let me tell you something. I was like I had this photographic memory. When I went out with a woman, if she wasn't talking right, I'd pay for a dinner and leave her right there. I said, I'm serious. I can't pretend. I'm not going to pretend you're the right one. I mean, I did her a favor. I mean, seriously. How many of us right now wish we had walked out, on somebody or something, And so I just got right. I said, look, I paid for your meal. It was nice meeting you. God bless you. And I just, seriously.
That's good.
He told me up front, second conversation, he said to me, I'm hard on women. And I said, is there any particular reason why you're telling me that? Are you warning me in advance? I said, because I'm not trying to be your woman. We just talking. And I think he was like, And then I asked him, because I asked him, I said, you know what? I said, do you find yourself having to talk to women a lot about their problems, and they come to you and stuff, and they're reaching out to you all the time? And he said, yeah. I said, well, I'm not that woman. I said, because I don't need you to do that for me. I said, I like talking to you, but I don't need that from you. And what I definitely didn't want was what he was giving to somebody else. I didn't want that for me, because I didn't think that I needed that, but I wanted more. So understand your needs versus your wants. A lot of times we get those confused. We think that we want. And the question is, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? Because see, if your needs are met, guess what? Your wants will be taken care of automatically. So we have to, women, start thinking a little differently about that. I have so many girlfriends that tell me, I want a man so bad, I just need a man, I need a man. I'm like, hold on, date you. Would you date you? Are you the kind of woman you want to marry? I even asked one of my girlfriends, would you be the kind of woman you want your son to marry? Knowing how you are, who you are you that woman? And she got real quiet. I said, so stop asking something from a man that you can't give yourself. You know, prepare yourself, get yourself ready so that when these opportunities come, you see it and you can identify with it. And my prayer was always, God, make it so clear to me that it was funny. And when I found myself packing up my home and closing my business, that was funny. Okay? And tonight, we initially were going to talk about falling in love, being in love, staying in love. But you know what? You guys know what that is.
Amen.
You know what that is. You know, at the end of the day, love is all there is, right? And even the word says, be humble, gentle, and patient. Show your love by being tolerant of one another. Do your best to preserve the unity which the Spirit gives you by means of peace that binds you together.
Also, let me tell you something that was a struggle for me. I'm just going to be honest and straight up about it. It was a struggle for me to give up my cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
Because those cell phones means a lot. There's a lot of things on those cell phones. And I had to come to the point where I could give her my cell phone and feel good about it. Because many times I couldn't give her my cell phone because I knew there was a wrong conversation or something up there.
Bubbles.
Right. Yeah, the bubbles, she's out.
The bubbles.
Yeah, and so I wanted to be the kind of man to her where I could give her my cell phone, or if something happened that day, I could come home and say, listen, baby, some woman hit on me today, or some woman did this. And I just wanted to be that kind of man. And so I found myself being able to give my cell phone to her. And it's a good feeling, knowing that, hey, you know, can I use your phone? What you want my phone? Okay. Why are they acting like that? I mean, if you can't use my phone, something's up. I mean, why are you grabbing for it? I mean, what's up? Men and women.
Yeah.
So
You know?
I got to the point where I could give her my cell phone and say, here, go through it, look at it.
And you know what's really great? He allowed it to be so that I would not turn into that woman who was suspicious of everything.
Right.
Baby, when I say he turned that thing around, Wren did a 360 like no other. For one, we put God first in it. We prayed on it. That's the first thing. We prayed on it, and we prayed hard together, and we were open and honest with one another about it. And, you know, and then he had to, figure it out for himself. He had to have a truthful moment for himself.
Right.
And he had to come to Jesus with Wren.
Right.
You know? And when he did, then it just cleared everything up. You guys, ladies, he set the tone. And he led in a way that allowed me to follow. You know? He's the head, but I know that I'm the neck that turns the head, right? Okay? So I allow him to do what he has to do because that is his role. He is my man. I stay in my lane. I understand what it is he has to do. God has given him a duty that I do not want. Okay? So I serve and I submit to my man. Because there is strength in serving and submission. Do not get caught up on what the media tells you about that. Okay? To serve and to submit. There is power, ladies, in serving and submit because it sets the tone for everything. Okay? You allow him to do what he has to do.
You've been watching KB Inspirational Entertainment Television.